Most people think discipline is something you either have or you don't. Like courage, like talent, like a genetic advantage. And when they fail to stay consistent, they don't say, "My system is broken." They say, "I am." But what if that belief is the real trap? What if the problem isn't your character, but your biology? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Your brain was not designed for long-term goals. It was designed for survival. Not build a better future. Not be consistent. Not work hard every day. Survive today. Save energy. Seek quick reward. Avoid unnecessary effort. That's not weakness. That's your operating system. So when you try to force discipline through willpower, you're doing something insane. You're trying to overpower millions of years of evolution with a motivational quote. And it might work for a day, maybe two. But eventually the brain does what it always does. It returns to the easiest path. The couch, the scroll, the snack, the delay. And you call it laziness. But it isn't laziness. It's design. Modern life demands that you behave like a focused machine, while your brain is still wired like a hunter-gatherer. That's the conflict. And until you understand that conflict, you will keep losing the same battle and blaming yourself for it. But here's the shift. Real discipline is not force. Real discipline is engineering, not fighting the brain, rearranging the world around the brain. So in the next minutes, I'm going to show you why you keep failing, what most people miss about consistency, and how to make the right behavior happen, even when you don't feel like it. If you've ever hated yourself for procrastinating, this video isn't here to shame you. It's here to free you. Let's begin. The brain has one obsession: efficiency. It doesn't ask, what will benefit me in 6 months? It asks, what costs less energy right now? This is why starting is always the hardest part. Starting a workout, starting a study session, starting a business task. The beginning is friction, and friction is the enemy of the brain. So it offers you an alternative, something quick, something predictable, something rewarding. Your phone. And notice how intelligent this trap is. Social media gives you reward without work, novelty without effort, stimulation with zero risk. So your brain chooses it, not because you're weak, but because it's the most efficient option available. This is why just try harder fails, because willpower is not a permanent resource. It drains. And when it drains, the brain defaults to autopilot. And autopilot always chooses the shortest route to dopamine. So the goal is not to become heroic. The goal is to stop needing heroism, which raises a brutal question. If your brain always chooses what is easiest, why are you building a life where the wrong choice is easier than the right one? That's why your environment is not a background. It's the main character. And once you see this, you stop asking, why am I not disciplined? And you start asking, what is my environment training me to do? In the next part, we'll expose how your room, your phone, your layout, your cues are quietly deciding your behavior before you even choose. If this is making sense, subscribe. Because we don't do motivation here. We do leverage. Here's a reality check. Self-control is fragile. It breaks easily when the environment is built against you. Think about it. You want to wake up early, but your phone is next to your bed. You want to work out, but your shoes are hidden. Your clothes are folded somewhere inconvenient. Your room is cold. Your brain is sleepy. Meanwhile, the easiest option is one movement away. Scroll. The decision isn't between good and bad. It's between easy and hard, visible and hidden, near and far, and the brain chooses near. So disciplined people aren't magically stronger. They simply make the right action easier to start. They design the path of least resistance. They don't rely on motivation. They remove friction. This is choice architecture. What is placed in front of you becomes your default. What is hidden becomes forgotten. So if you want to read more, don't try to read more. Put the book where your hand reaches automatically. If you want to stop scrolling, don't be stronger. Make scrolling harder. Turn off notifications. Remove the apps. Put the phone in another room. Add steps between you and the habit, because every extra step is a psychological barrier. And barriers matter more than people admit. So here's the formula. Make bad habits inconvenient. Make good habits inevitable. Not through motivation, through setup. But there's an even more powerful move. Instead of creating new habits from nothing, you attach them to habits you already do. That's the next part. Your life is already full of automatic routines. You wake up, you check your phone, you drink something, you sit somewhere, you open something. Those actions are not decisions. They're loops. And the fastest way to build discipline is to hijack those loops. This is habit stacking. You don't ask your brain to start a new habit. You simply say, after I do X, I will do Y. After I brush my teeth, I do 2 minutes of stretching. After I make coffee, I write 1 sentence. After I sit at my desk, I open the project file first. After I lock the door, I take a 3-minute walk. Notice the key: small, specific, immediate, because the brain doesn't fear tiny actions. It fears big starts. So you start so small it feels silly. 2 minutes, 1 page, 1 sentence. And what happens? Motion begins, and once motion begins, your brain changes state. Inertia flips. The hardest part was never the task. It was the start. Habit stacking makes the start automatic. But you might ask, if systems are so powerful, why do I still procrastinate? Because procrastination is not laziness. It's a signal that one of 4 rules is broken. Let's fix that. There are 4 conditions your brain needs to repeat any behavior. If even one is missing, the habit dies. Rule 1, make it obvious. If the cue is hidden, the habit won't happen. Rule 2, make it attractive. If there's no anticipation of reward, the brain avoids it. Rule 3, make it easy. If starting feels heavy, you delay. Rule 4, make it satisfying. If there's no closure, no progress marker, no reward, your brain won't attach to it. Most people fail because they break all 4. They try to study, but the desk is messy. The book is buried, the phone is nearby. They aim for an hour, no tracking, no reward. Then they scroll. Then they feel shame. Then they repeat. But watch what happens when you redesign it. Obvious, materials open on the desk. Attractive, a drink, a calm playlist, a clean space. Easy, 5 minutes only. Satisfying, checkmark, streak, small reward. Same person, different design. And now the habit starts to feel natural. Not because you became stronger, but because you stopped making the right choice difficult. Now here's the final myth to destroy. You do not need to enjoy discipline to be disciplined. You just need to make the behavior inevitable. And that brings us to the deepest layer, identity. Most people try to change their life at the surface level. They chase motivation. They chase productivity hacks. They chase perfect routines. But the deepest change is not what you do. It's who you believe you are. Because every action is a vote for an identity. Every time you train, you vote, I am someone who keeps promises. Every time you read instead of scroll, you vote, I am someone who builds my mind. Every time you do 2 minutes instead of 0, you vote, I am someone who starts. This is why consistency wins, not intensity. Consistency is how identity is built. And when identity changes, behavior follows. You stop asking, how do I force discipline? And you start saying, this is what people like me do. That's when discipline becomes automatic. Not because you became a robot, but because you built a system, an environment, and an identity that makes the right behavior the default. So here's the choice. You can keep blaming yourself for not being strong enough. Or you can redesign the game. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop using shame as fuel. Stop fighting your own brain. Build the path of least resistance for the life you want. Now tell me in the comments, what is the first habit you will redesign today? And if this shifted your perspective, subscribe. Because from here, we go deeper.